Welcome to the Getting Started guide on how to use Canvas along with your palette too. At the end of this video, you'll be well on your way to slicing with Canvas and printing with your palette. Don't be alarmed if anything seen in this video changes. We are constantly making tweaks and adding features to improve Canvas. First, let's take a quick look at what Canvas is and what features it offers. Here we are on the Canvas webpage. Let's take a look at Canvas. Canvas is specifically built for multi-material slicing. The easy drag and drop color panel is ideal for multi-material slicing. Canvas will save and organize all of your printer and material settings. And in the future, there will be an option of sharing your settings with other Canvas users. Now let's hop into Canvas and get started. Here we are on Canvas. This is going to be the view you will see once you've created your free account and logged in. Let's go ahead and create a new project. As you can see here, we need to add a new printer. Let's go ahead and click that. After we click Add New Printer, we will get prompted to either create a blank profile or we could import a profile from a different slicer. Let's start with creating our own profile. For those who already have a preferred slicer profile, we'll show you how to import that next. For now, we will create a blank profile and we'll name it My Printer. And then choose the icon that best represents our printer. As you can see, we have all of our basic printer settings. We can choose whether or not our printer is a rectangular printer or a circular printer. We can then easily adjust the bed size values to fit our printer. We have the origin offsets, the start and end sequence scripts, the Z offset, the Bowden tube length, and if your printer has multiple extruders. Let's check out the advanced settings. Here we can adjust the file type if you have a printer that accepts files other than Gcode. There are also settings that you may need to adjust if you have a unique printer. Let's go back and then click Save. Here we are in the Style Profile section. What we just created was a printer profile that contains only the printer settings. Style profiles are different from printer profiles, in which they are where all the extrusion settings are saved. You might want different profiles for things that might change depending on the print, like infill, speed, layer height, or supports. Let's make a blank profile to see what it looks like. Let's name this profile Standard. In the General tab, we see the layer height, the shell thickness, the perimeters, and the printing speeds. In the Extrusion tab, we see the extrusion parameters and retraction settings. In the Infill tab, we see the infill density, the style of infill, and other infill settings. In the Material tab, we see the printing temperature as well as the print bed temperature. In the Transition tab, we see whether or not we want a tower or not, the transition length, and other tower settings. In the First Layer tab, we see the first layer height, speed, and whether or not we want a skirt, a brim, or a raft. In the Supports tab, we can change whether or not we want 3 different kinds of support densities and other support settings. Let's go ahead and click Save. We just showed you how to create a printer profile and a style profile from scratch. However, if you already have slicing settings from a different application, Canvas allows you to import them easily. This is what the process looks like. It will automatically change the printer name to the same as the profile name of the slicer profile. As we see here, all of our settings were imported and placed into the proper fields on Canvas. And as we click Save, it sends us into the Style profile, which also took all the information from the imported slicer profile and placed them accordingly. Here, you can rename the profile and select an icon to represent the profile. Now that we have all of our profile settings in order, let's add palette to the mix. We'll choose Palette 2. And there are 2 settings for Palette 2, Connected and Accessory mode. We will choose Accessory mode and click Save. Now we see our printer as well as the style profile we made. To continue, we will just choose the style profile Standard. Here we are in the main window of Canvas. We see that there is a pop-up to indicate to us to upload the files we wish to print. We simply click on the Multi-Material Models section and choose the files we want to upload. Another way to upload models we wish to print is to simply drag and drop the models into the corresponding section we wish to use. Let's say you were to select the single materials section, and you select the models you wish to use, but you wanted to make it a multi-material environment. All we would have to do to make it a multi-material environment would be simply select all the objects in the browser and click the Align and Group button just below. Now let's jump back to the project we were working on before. Some features on Canvas you would use would be renaming the objects in the browser. Speaking of names, we should also give our project a name. You can simply show or hide groups or objects in the browser by simply clicking the eye icon. If you open the Rotate panel, you can easily rotate your objects or groups, same as in the Scale panel. There is also a function just below this left side panel where you can auto-arrange anything in the environment. If we jump to the Color section, we see on the left side of the browser the Color panel, in which we can easily choose which color we want to be represented. Let's select the colors that match our object names. Once you have all the colors you want, all you simply have to do is drag and drop the colors onto each separate body that you want colored. As you can see in the left corner of the print area, the transition tower is automatically generated when we add more colors. Now that we have the model colored, we want to move the tower into a more suitable place to print. We go back to the Place section and open the Move panel. If you're familiar with Chroma, there's a way to change the length of the tower in order to fit it in tighter places. In Canvas, we have that by simply selecting the tower and opening the Scale panel. Simply by changing the values, we can manually change the way the tower is placed in the print area. When changing colors from one color to the next on a single nozzle, you have to run a certain amount of filament through to get a crisp color. In Canvas, you can select whether you want a transition tower, or if your printer allows it, you can use side transitions that purge filament off to the side of the print bed. When changing colors from one to the next, we measure that amount in the transition length value. The higher the value, the higher the amount of filament is used to transition between two colors. Back to our project. In the Settings section, we see all the settings we made for the standard style profile. If we change any of these settings here, they will not affect any other projects that are using the same style profile. The changes will only affect this current project. Now, if we go to the Preview section, we don't see anything until we click the Slice button at the bottom. Once we click that, the server begins slicing. After a moment, we will see our Gcode on the print area with all the proper colors in place. On the right side of the browser, we have the Toolpath preview to check that every layer is in order. Under the print summary, on the left, we have the option to change the color by 4 different ways, as well as show the retractions or travel movements. Now all we have to do is click download. For more information about Palette 2, check out our playlist on Palette 2 hardware setup and starting a print with Palette 2. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or connect with us at support@mosaicmfg.com.